So tonight, because we are not actually in Passover officially, according to the fact that the sun's down and everything, we're doing this a little bit before Passover itself. We're not going to be doing the full kiddush every time we drink a glass of wine or grape juice. We're just going to be doing the Brei Pri Hagafen because kiddush is actually sanctifying the day, and it is not technically the day yet to be sanctified. So we're not quite there, but we will say Brei Pri Hagafen together. Does that sound good? On page 8 in our Haggadah. It's a Haggadah, not a Siddur or a Machzor. It's a Haggadah. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen. And we lean to the left, which is good for digestion, but also good for luxury. Oh, I love all those people leaning. That's such a great image. That was great.
It was like the entirety of our computers just like tilted to one end.
It got heavy on one side.
Exactly.
Rabbi, we are on Kadesh or Chatz.
Oh, or Chatz. Okay. It's time to wash our hands again. Believe it or not, even though we've been washing our hands so often over the past month, we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to do it without a blessing. And why don't we sing a song like we've been taught to do for hygienic reasons, right? This one is actually for hygienic reasons, according to the Seder. So why not Dayenu? Because we might have had enough of washing our hands already.
All right, you tell me when I hit 20 seconds.
Okay, ready?
Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu, Dayenu,
I think we're good.
All right.
Dayenu, enough with the hand washing already.
There is a custom of putting extra things on your Seder plate in extraordinary moments. You should know, I'll show you very close what I have on my Seder plate right here. It is a bottle of Purell. So,
but not for consumption. Please don't.
Not for consumption, please. I'm just doing a little orchatz here. Okay. Now, we are on Karpas. And Karpas is our first of the 2 dippings. Now, we do this. I have my karpas right here. It is a sign of spring, parsley. Some people use potatoes because where my family came from in very, very, very northeastern Europe, and by that I mean the Galiciana kind of thing like that. It wasn't spring yet, let's be honest, when we were on this. So we're going to say the bracha, which is on page 10 in our Haggadah. And we can say it together. I want to see those lips moving. You can use parsley, and it's in salt water to help us remember the tears, the difficulty. And I want us to think as we're doing the karpas, something to think about here. We have to dip to get the salt water, but what we're doing is in order to eat it, we have to pull ourselves out of our tears. And that's the key point right now. What we are doing right now, the difficulties we are facing right now, is to allow us to emerge from our tears. So it's not just about the dipping, it's about emerging as well. And my prayer is, as we do the karpas, that we will emerge from this most difficult time with a greater life, as symbolized by our parsley or our spring vegetable. And so on page 10, we'll say together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adamah, and enjoy it. Now, because we've said the blessing borei pri ha'adamah, there's another thing that comes with borei pri ha'adamah that you're supposed to say for that blessing as well. It's really anything that grows in the ground. And I think that this is a time to spoil yourself, or if you want to call it stress eating, that's okay too. So in my family, we have a custom of doing another dipping, but instead of dipping in salt water, we dip in chocolate with strawberries, which also come from the ground. And so here we have a chocolate dipped strawberry, which is also for the same bracha.
Well, you didn't bring enough for everyone? What is this?
There we go, right here.
We can hear you.
Okay.
That's the effect.
Okay, let us continue, as we are all jealous of Rabbi Yanoff and his chocolate covered strawberries. We continue now with Yachatz, and I'm actually going to share my screen because there is a beautiful piece that was written by a colleague of ours, Rabbi Aaron Weininger, in Minneapolis.
Here's a little known fact. Rabbi Aaron Weininger was my student in high school at the Solomon Schechter High School of New York.
Wow.
He was not Rabbi Aaron Weininger back then.
That makes one of us old. I don't know which one.
Very little.
So we're going to take our middle matzah, and as we take our middle matzah and break it into 2 bits, we recognize, just as the psalmist remarks, Karov Adonai l'nishbarei lev, God is close to the brokenhearted, and each of us on some level are broken. And his remarks, he shares a prayer. O God of bravest responders and Costco shoppers, of Zoom muters and Facebook Live producers, with broken hearts may waters part in their cracks for us to find dry ground and dance with distance. With broken skin may our hands find healing in loving acts of kindness towards ourselves and strangers. With broken matzah may our decisions lead us to flatten the curve of illness. With broken souls may our song have space to rise and reach souls who lived before us in the quest of freedom. We are broken as we ask. We are mending as we answer. Be with us, Holy One, as we ask and answer tonight and every night. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
And then we take the bigger piece, right? And we wrap it up for later. And kiddos who are on the call or on the Zoom, please know there will be an actual afikomen hunt. There will be an afikomen hunt here. So we're reminded of our brokenness as we begin this holiest of dinners, holiest of Seders tonight.
All right, here's where we are. For those of you keeping score at home, Kadesh Orchatz, Karpas Yachatz, Magid. Now we're on the talking part. A lot of talking. So we're going to begin, and what I would encourage you to do at this point in time is, if you are near a door, this is the all who are hungry come and eat. And what a thing that we do normally. I want you to open the door, because normally we wouldn't even think twice about opening our doors, but these days, these weeks, we have really not opened our doors as much. So we want to be serious about let all who are hungry come and eat. Even if it's a symbolic statement, we're going to sing Ha Lachma Anya. Ha Lachma Anya. Ti achalu achalu avatana. Be'ara be'ara de Mitzrayim. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are in need come and share the Pesach meal. This year we are here. Next year may we be in the land of Israel. This year we are enclosed. Next year maybe we be in the wide open. Maybe we be out of the narrowness of Mitzrayim into the wide open. This year we are still slaves. Next year, though we are now slaves to so many things, next year may we feel the sweetness of freedom.
Amen. Amen. Now is the big moment for all of the kiddos here. So if you are the youngest person at your Seder, for some of us, if we're the only people at our Seder, that means us.
Or if you would have been the youngest person.
Or if you would have been the youngest at your Seder. That's better. That's better. Or if you have a youngin with you, we're going to unmute people so that we can hear the children do the Manishtana. Sound good?
Yes. Anyone who has a child who wants to do Manishtana, let's let them unmute themselves. We'd love to have some people join with me, so it's not just me doing the Manishtana. You know, while we talk about this, we're going to talk about the significance of the night, and while people are unmuting, Dr. Ben Abella, who is doing amazing things about clinical trials and is on the front lines because he's an ER doctor. He's the second in command of Penn's ER, and he's a member of Adath Israel. And he was asking us to think about right before the redemption from Egypt, what were we asked to do? We were asked to stay in our house. Something threatening was outside, a mortal threat, a lethal threat. And think about that this moment of difficulty comes before a moment of redemption. All right, and with that, we're going to ask, why is this night different? It's come up in the chats a couple times. Mani
שבכל הלילות אנו מטבילים אפילו כמה אחת, אפילו כמה אחת. הלילה הזה שתי פעמים, הלילה הזה שתי פעמים, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבים ובין מסובים, בין יושבים ובין מסובים. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים, הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים.
Wow. We asked
Zoom applause. This is Zoom applause for our youngest people doing the Manish Tana. That is amazing.
They asked such good questions. We should answer them, right?
Good. Here we go. I'm going to do that. But Rabbi Andy, you have a public service announcement first.
I do. I have a public service announcement. I need readers for the 4 children. So if you want to be one of the 4 children, pretty please message me privately.
Yeah, in the chat. In the
chat.
All right, and I'm going to do Avadim Hayinu, which is the answer of why we do all these crazy things. It can be found, Avadim Hayinu can be found on page 16 in our Haggadah. Avadim Hayinu, Leparo b'Mitzrayim, Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorim, Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorim, Ata b'nei chorim, b'nei
chorim. So, awesome. We tell a story in the Seder. If we turn to page 17 in our Haggadahs, I don't know why that word is so difficult to come up with tonight, because there's something different about tonight. If we turn to page 17, they tell a story about sort of an archetype of what the Seder ought to be. The idea is that the Seder needs to go, we're supposed to spend the entire night talking about the Exodus from Egypt until the sun comes up. Now, that's not what this Seder is going to be, but we invite everyone to stay up all night talking at home with whoever you happen to be with. That would be lovely. But there's a story of rabbis who stayed up all night doing the Seder until their students came in and said, it's time to do the Shema. So everyone loves the Shema. So we are going to recite the Shema together. Boom.
Let's mute everyone for the Shema. It's going to be a little chaotic, but here we go.
Rabbi Yanoff, you can't do that. Lauren, can you do it?
I can do it. I got it.
Okay.
Where did you guys fold?
Here we go.
Easy there. What are you doing?
Okay, my goodness, the people. Unmute yourself, Rabbi.
I'm unmuted. Are you unmuted? I'm unmuted.
I am. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
We're good. Okay. So, no one has gotten in touch with me about the 4 children. I
No
think
one
they were
wants to
afraid.
read. It's reading in English. I promise it's reading in English. But in the meantime, I'm going to sing a song about us being in slavery. This one's for the kids. This one's for the kids. Can you see me in my pharaoh hat? Bang, 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 hold your hammers low. Bang, 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 give a heavy blow. For it's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's light. Dig, 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 hold your shovels deep. Dig, 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 there's no time for sleep. For there's work, 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 every day and every night. For it's work, 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 when it's dark and when it's light. So that's one way of telling the story, but the Torah talks about 4 different ways of telling the story. Different types of children, and actually they're each in us.
Ooh, you can find it on page 20. I think Cheryl Levin offered to do the first child, the Chacham. I just have to find her.
So Rabbi Markowitz is going to unmute Cheryl, and then Meredith Crane is going to do the rebellious one. Know that these are not typecast in any way.
And then Linda, I don't know who Linda is. I just see Linda.
Linda can do the third.
Linda will do the third.
All right, and if anyone wants to do the fourth. But Cheryl, tell us what the wise child says on page 20.
The wise child says, what are the testimonies, the statutes, and the laws which Adonai God has commanded you?
You can keep on going.
You must tell some of the laws of Pesach. We do not produce to any afikomen, dessert, or after dinner celebrations after eating the Pesach lamb.
Well done. Meredith, what does the rebellious child say?
Okay, just a heads up, I only have a brief version. What does the wicked child say? The wicked child asks, what does this service mean to you? To you and not to herself or himself. Because she takes herself out of the community and misses the point. Set this child's teeth on edge and say, it is because of what God did for me in taking me out of Egypt. Me, not you. Had that child been there, she would have been left behind.
Well done.
Well done. Okay, Linda.
The simple child asks, what is this all about? Tell the child, with a strong hand, the Lord brought us out of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Okay.
Fourth.
Does somebody want to be the Ano Daily Show, the one who doesn't know how to ask? Does somebody not know how to ask how to do this?
There we go. I love that.
See what I did there? See what I did there? Okay, I'm just going to call him. Okay, I see Zimra. Zimra, you're unmuted.
Thank you.
Okay. I have no script here, so, but I'm not smart enough to ask. So I'm not educated enough to ask. So if you could hold a paper up at the screen, I can read it out for you.
Let's see if that works.
Oh, good. Wait, make it closer here. Now pull it back towards you. Okay, I got it. Who does not know? You should prompt him as it moves this thing over. As it is, you shall tell yourself. Okay, it is because of this. You have to move the book.
I can't see what because the book's in front. Okay. I don't know if this is
I want to, but I can't see
it. Okay, it's okay.
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. It was
sorry.
Great. No, you did a good job. Okay. It is because of this that Adonai did for me when I went free from Egypt. That is the response. Okay.
And so thank you all for volunteering. We assume that these are not typecast in any way. We will touch base with Larry and Evelyn at some point in time to make sure of that. But we are going to move ahead. Rabbi, would you like to show people what we're moving ahead over, these beautiful pictures that if you have the Haggadah that we have?
These pictures are gorgeous. I particularly like this one. which is from the Rabbinical Assembly's Haggadah, in which it clearly shows that there's a little piece of each child in all of us, that we should not be stuck in one particular mode. But you also have an early Zionist or a religious Zionist one from Eastern Europe. You have, of course, the Mos Haggadah, the beautiful illustrated Mos Haggadah. It's really a great resource, a great teaching resource too. You do have the early Zionist. The bad one, of course, is the capitalist in this one, because the Rasha, the wicked child, is the capitalist, as they clearly value not the right things in a kibbutz society. So it's interesting to see how the four children have been represented over the years in our time, in different societies, different cultures, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really, really wonderful.
What we are going to do now, and so take some time to really think about those and look at those, and there are more representations online. What we're going to do right now is we're sort of gearing this towards a lot of different ages. And so what I'm going to ask, this is geared towards those who are living with concern right now. And parents, I would ask, based on the four children, we put something online on the Adath Israel Passover resources about talking about your children, to your children about coronavirus at the different levels as well, just like the four children represent. But on page 35, I'll ask you to hold your wine glass, because what we say at this moment, we say that we are holding our joy and our redemption in our hands. And yet we recognize that we have been up against things many times before, and this is not going to be the last, sadly. Shelo echad bilvad amad aleinu lechalotenu. That we are up against some really difficult stuff, and in our history we have, but that there is redemption at the end of these. So I'll invite people to hold your wine glass, filling it for the second cup, which is about to happen. Not long.
Have someone fill it for you, that's even better.
Yes. Vehi she'amda lavoteinu velanu. Vehi she'amda lavoteinu velanu. Shelo echad bilvad amad aleinu lechalotenu. Ela shem chodor vador omdim aleinu lechalotenu. Vehakadosh baruch hu matzilenu mi'adam. Another public service announcement, Rabbi, for after
I need 3 more volunteers to read the Pesach Matzah and Maror, explaining the parts of the Seder plate. So either say in the chat, or we'll just call on you randomly. It'll be great.
Now, this is a kid's song that we sing in our early childhood and in our early grades. This tells the story of Moses going with Aaron, because Moses was sort of an introvert and had difficulty speaking in public for a lot of reasons. And he said the following: Oh, listen, oh, listen, oh, listen, King Pharaoh. Oh, listen, please let my people go. They work so hard all day. They want to go away. King Pharaoh, what do you say? And he said, no, 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 I will not let them go. No, 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 I will not let them go. And it took 10 times, and I have them all sort of lined up here, but my favorite is the one we're going to sing about right now. In my family, we have these little jumping frogs, and if anyone ever gets one in their water, we're going to see if I can do it one time here. We'll see if it works. Oh, it missed the water. It went to the wine instead. One morning when Pharaoh awoke in his bed, there were frogs in his bed and frogs on his head, frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes. Frogs here, frogs there, frogs were jumping everywhere.
Oy, I guess that brings us to the plagues.
That does. That's what we're on right now. We are on page 46, but Rabbi, give us some also for the adults. We just did a kid's song, so give us some real thinking about plagues, especially.
So it's weird, I've heard the joke so often that we're in the midst of another plague. There's an 11th plague this year, but as Rabbi Yanoff has shared multiple times, and we've sort of hinted at, I don't necessarily know if I love that this is, that to call this a plague, because the plagues were because there was something utterly wrong with society and there were injustices that needed to be corrected. But the beautiful part of the plague is the relief at the end of it, and the Rahmanis that God felt at the end for each of the Egyptians as they went through this. It's interesting that we find ourselves in this unprecedented moment in our lives, in which there is a literal plague that is going out in the world, and we have this juxtaposition of all of these horrible things that happen. But the beauty, and I think the way in which we can find God in it, in this moment, and maybe even in that, is that we hope that individuals, and we see individuals in today's world who are going above and beyond and providing for others. We see the people on the front lines of this epidemic who are going to work day in and day out to provide health care for people. That is sort of the silver lining. And not to mention the incredible opportunity to spend time stuck at home with family, right? All of us with very young children. Yes, exactly. But it's really a blessing to be able to have that opportunity. While we remark on the 10 plagues, it's traditional to spill out a little bit of our wine, of our grape juice, as we recite each of the 10 plagues, because we recognize that any suffering anywhere in the world, even if it's the suffering of our enemies, is unacceptable, and that we should diminish our joy. There's a teaching in the Gemara, in the Talmud, in Rabbinic Judaism, that says that each of us, that ein simcha ela b'yayin, that wine is literally the understanding of, is the sort of the instantiation, the prime example of joy in the world. So we symbolically spill out a little bit of our wine with each of the 10 plagues, because we recognize that when anyone is suffering, we too are suffering, and our fates are ultimately intertwined with the greater good of the entire world. So I pray that as we spill out our joy this year, we should have much to look forward to next year and celebrate. And hold our joy close to our hearts and kindle it as we make our way through this dark time in our nation and personal history. Okay, are you ready, Rabbi Yanoff?
All right, on page 46 in our Haggadah, as we think about these plagues, know that these were calamitous in Egyptian society, and that they really did stop the society, as Rabbi Markowitz said. And so that is a lesson, and it should give us pause in this moment as well. Shall we take a little bit of our wine? You want to call them, Rabbi?
Sure. Dam. Svardeya. Inim. Arov. Dever. Chin. Barad. Arbe. Hoshech. Makat Bechorot. Now, just like we have mnemonic devices today, the ancient rabbis also had mnemonic devices so that they could remember all of these. So Rabbi Yehuda had his own 3 acrostic abbreviations that he would use in order to remember them. So it's traditional also to spill out, so that we might, have this mnemonic device moving forward. So, Detzach, Adash,
Be'achav.
Okay, and now there's the big machloket in the Markowitz household, whether or not to lick your fingers, right? Because at this moment, we've just poured out wine for the plague. I would say, if you're a child, go for it. If you're an adult, it's okay to not lick your fingers. That's okay to maybe say, okay, a little bit more joy. It's okay. Okay. Where are we at in the Seder?
We're on page 48.
Oh, we need friends to explain parts of the Seder plate. I had, no, we don't yet. It's Dayenu. It's enough. Oh, and there's a Sephardi custom to, I couldn't find any. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you to whip ourselves or whip our neighbors with scallions during Dayenu as if we were the Egyptian taskmasters. So Rabbi Yanoff just whipped all of us for it. So let us sing a couple of verses of Dayenu.
We're going to do the first verse and the last verse or two. 48, and then you're going to skip to 50. Hey, Otzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Otzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu, Dayenu, got the plagues. Otzianu, mi Mitzrayim, below Asavahem, Shvatim, Dayenu. Second to last verse. Natan lanu et Torah All right.
Okay.
All right, we're moving.
We are moving. We need those volunteers. So, someone Jones. Who is Jones? Volunteer to read one. Oh, I see you. I see you. You could unmute yourself.
There are three things we have to do for the Seder to count. We have to explain 3 of the items on the Seder plate.
So please explain the Pesach lamb in the middle of page 52. Why the Pesach lamb? And we raise the shank bow.
The Passover lamb that our ancestors ate in the days of the temple, why did we used to eat it? To remind ourselves that God passed over our ancestors' houses in Egypt at this very hour on this very date. Moshe has already instructed us, when your children ask you, what do you mean by this ceremony? You shall say, it is the Passover offering to Adonai, because God passed over the houses of Israel in Egypt when God struck the Egyptians but saved our houses.
Well done.
Good. Okay, we need 2 more people. Just unmute yourself and do it. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Going for the matzah.
Okay.
Why do we eat this matzah? It is because the King of Kings, the Holy One, revealed himself to our ancestors and redeemed them before their dough had time to ferment. As it is written, they baked the dough which they had brought out of Egypt into unleavened cakes, for they were driven out of Egypt and could not delay, nor had they prepared any provisions for their journey.
Okay.
We need a maror.
We need a maror.
Why this maror? Why do we eat it? To remind ourselves that the Egyptians embittered our ancestors' lives. They embittered their lives with hard labor, with mortar and bricks construction, and with all sorts of field labor. Whatever the task, they worked them ruthlessly.
I want to show you the size of this horseradish root that I got here. It looks like a shofar. Yeah, I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. You know, so we have now technically done our obligation for the Seder. I want to show you something else besides the Purell that I added to my Seder plate this year. I saw this online. This is a pomegranate.
Okay.
And the idea is, the reason for a pomegranate is that it has a corona on the top, but inside has its seeds and has life and has a reaffirmation of Judaism. There's a tradition that pomegranates, maybe even that there are traditionally 613 seeds to remind us of the mitzvot, and a pomegranate connects us to a reaffirming of life. And so despite the fact that we are battling the outside corona, we inside know that there is life, and so I have a pomegranate there for you.
Sure.
We are going to continue now. I'll invite everyone to read together. We're going to pick up the pace here a little bit. Page 54, we're going to read just the paragraph. In every generation, one is obligated to see oneself as one who personally went out from Egypt Just as it is said, you shall tell your child on that very day, it's because of this that God did for me when I went out from Egypt. And we're going to celebrate that going out from Egypt by singing B'Tzeit Yisrael, just the beginning part of it, page 57. B'Tzeit Yisrael, Mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov, Me'yam Lo'ez, Hayta Yehuda L'Kodsho, Yisrael, Mamshelotav, Hayam Ra, Vayanos Hayarden, Yisov Le'achor He'arim, Rakedu Ke'elim. The idea of going out from Egypt, Mitzrayim, it comes from the word Meitzar, from narrow. And the idea here is that we go from narrow, from our constrained places, into the wide expanses of freedom. And with that, we are going to move on to our second cup of wine, page 58. I told you, we're speeding up here. With things going fast once you get to the food. Bottom of page 58. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei berit hagafet. And you know what we forgot to do on the first cup that we should do on this cup? We should.
Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu,
V'kiyamanu, v'hikianu, hazman hazeh. L'chaim.
I am. All right, we are on the second washing, heading into the motzi.
Okay, this one we say with a blessing. So let us do it together. This is the ritual one, not the purely perfunctory or hygienic one necessarily. We dry our hands off with a towel after we get some water on our hands, and we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Amen. And now we take some of that matzah that we have, that first matzah on top, and we recite motzi and matzah. So we take and we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Motzi lecha min haaretz.
Don't eat.
Don't eat yet. Well, there's one more blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. And now we take a piece of matzah and we eat it. That first bite is just so good.
Oh, good.
So good.
I can't even tell you how good it is.
I need some water. Wow. Okay. Now we get to play with the matzah.
Yeah, while you're at it, take the third matzah and start making yourself a Hillel sandwich with the bitter herb. But for right now, we're gonna take some of that bitter herb. And I always say that, this is a time when we're trying to have a good amount of levity and we're trying to sweeten the bitterness. But the truth is that this is a really hard time in our nation's history, in the world's history, in our personal family history. And there's a lot of pain, and yes, there is loss in this. And we know that we are in the point of this, at least in the United States, where it is probably going to be the worst point over the next week or two. And so we need to sweeten that. We need to sweeten that bitterness. And so and so that's why we take the maror and put a little charoset with it. Because there have been moments of redemption and moments of sweetness, even in the difficulty. I am carving some fresh maror right off that root right now, so you know. And I'm going to put a little bit of scallion with it. So there's all my maror. And you know what Jews do? We take the bitterness in our experience and we add a healthy dose of charoses that we'll put in here.
I like that. That's good. That's good.
I worked hard at that one. So here we go. We are going to page 60. Everyone say it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat
maror.
Eat it up. All right.
My sinuses.
Woo-hoo. gravity. It comes to you. There you go.
This is the root that keeps on giving.
All right, we're on that Hillel Hoagie.
Hillel Hoagie. So you should know that the reason it's called korech, because literally it means like to roll something, is that matzah really shouldn't be cardboard. Matzah should be more like a pita. But because of industrialization, and because of all sorts of reasons, we don't want to make our own matzah at home because it may become chametz. This is the safest way for us to eat matzah. But really, the Hillel sandwich was a shawarma. They would cut a piece of the Pesach offering, put some maror on it, put some of this charoset stuff on it, and roll it up in a laffa, if you've ever been to Israel. So this was a shawarma, not a cracker sandwich like we do today.
All right. You ready to do it?
I'm getting there. Okay, let's do it.
All right. Here we go. This is in memory of the way the Passover offering in the temple. Hillel used to eat, according to the Torah, the sandwich al matzot morim yochli yochluhum, and we eat it together.
Wow.
Now, Kadesh orchat karpas yachat magid rochza motzi matzah maror korech shulchan orech.
Okay, so we're gonna eat real quick. Festive meal. I have a piece of gefilte fish. Do you have a piece of gefilte fish?
So do I.
Okay, let's see. Let's do this.
We encourage you to have your dinner in about 5 minutes when this whole thing's over. But for now, that counts.
Okay.
Rabbi,
What?
we gotta have dessert.
Oh, well, we can't have dessert without finding the afikomen. Okay, let's see if you can find the afikomen. In fact, not only is the afikomen on here, but Waldo is also on here.
I love that. If anyone sees it, put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat and tell us where you see it.
You can't make it bigger.
I can't really make it that much bigger. Nope. There we go. Oh.
Well, while we're doing it, you know, we can leave that on for a little bit, but let's go to the next thing for a second, the next slide for just 1 second, because there's a little hint, a little known fact that Birkat Hamazon, the blessing after the meal, does not have to be that long. In fact, it counts if you say 4 words, or 5 words, I think. Why don't we put those 5 words up there? Because we're going to do it really fast. Here we go. Say them with me. Brich Rachmana Mare Dahai Pita. We pray that God, who is a master of all bread, be a source of mercy for us, and that counts as our Barech. I'm going to do a little bit of Hallel, a very little bit of Hallel. And you put the Where's Waldo back up there while I'm doing.
Already done.
We got it. Amazing. All right. On page 71 in the blue at the bottom of the first column, it says the following. You repeat after me. Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana.
Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Oh, wait. Sorry. We forgot to do the blessing after. We've got to do the third cup.
No, let's do it.
Baruch atah Adonai Melech Borei Pri Hagafen.
Okay.
This is the ending here. Now, repeat after me. Adonai Atzlichana.
Adonai Tzlichana.
Adonai Atzlichana.
Adonai Tzlichana.
Baruch atah Adonai Melech Me'olam Batish Bachot. All right. We are going to continue now with the 4th cup of wine, which is on page 73. Pick it up. Did anyone find the...
So people have found Waldo, it seems.
Okay.
Waldo is in the top right corner. My wife, I think, has found it.
Good. And it looks like Hannah Landsberg has found it, too. We're going to do the 4th cup, because we're almost done here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
But I chatted to everyone. He knows. Oh,
Oh, wait, you guys are unmuted. Mute yourselves.
Okay. Here we go. We are going to do just one or two songs to finish up here because we're at the end. We're on Mirza.
Oh my goodness, that's my favorite part.
That's where the Seder, people say, when is it over? This is it. And then we're going to leave you to your meals afterwards. But we're going to do 75. Adiru, adiru, ibnei beito b'charo, b'mheira, b'mheira, v'yameinu b'karo, el b'nei b'ncha b'karo. Rachum hu, shaddai hu, takiv hu, ibnei beito b'charo, b'mheira, v'yameinu b'karo, el b'nei b'ncha b'karo. And we're going to skip to Chad Gadya.
Ooh, we had a goat.
Yes, but we're going to do just the first verse and the last verse of Chad Gadya because I am merciful to you all. Which Chad Gadya is on page 82. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya, Dezabin Abba Bitrezu Ze Chad Gadya. This is like I know an old lady who swallowed a fly. And so now we're going to go to the most powerful thing, which of course is God, and to show that there are things that are bigger than us. There are things that are outside of our control. There are things that we can't fully understand and do. That's what this is about. And then we're going to conclude with Lashana Aba'ah in just a moment. Ve'atzar Kadosh Baruch Hu. This is page 84. V'shachat le'malach ha'mavet, v'shachat le'shochet, v'shachat le'torah, v'shata le'mayak. Look. V'chava le'nura. Crackle.
Sizzle.
V'sharaf le'chutra. Thwack. V'yigal la'kalba. Roof. V'shak le'shunra. Meow. Diachra le'gadya. Man. V'shabin haba
Bitrezu Ze
Chad Gadya. Lishana haba, Lishana haba, Lishana haba beYerushalayim. Lishana haba, Lishana haba, Lishana haba beYerushalayim. Lishana
haba.
Shalayim Amnuya. Lishana haba biyachad beYerushalayim.
Yeah. Chag Sameach. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Healthy Pesach.
Happy and healthy Pesach. You can find more resources for your own Seders at adathisrael.org/Passover. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. Thank you. This was nice. This was lovely.
Lovely. Chag Sameach, everyone.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Kulam. Bye.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach, but don't suck anybody.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Maybe it sounded like her, didn't it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Debbie planning on watching?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Some,